Good afternoon. Good afternoon, students. Are you listening my voice? Is it audible? Okay. Are you hearing? వినిపిస్తుందా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా నాది? శ్రీ విద్య?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్.
Okay, right. Okay. So in our last class, we discussed certain things regarding the socio-religious reform movements which taken place in 19th century. Okay. So we discussed certain factors responsible for rise of the socio-religious reform. So you are well aware that many are reform movements, particularly started in colonial period, starting from the Brahma Samaja, which turned into Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, Young Bengal movement by Herni Derajo, and Theosophical Society, Aligarh Muslim movement. Likewise, many movements you are aware. For these, there are certain reasons, factors. Among them, the religious and socio or social factors are the important. Okay, so what are the important social factors? Among them is nothing but the provide of Western education. Within the Western education, the learning of English is a main thing. Due to the English education, many people in Indian society aware and they attracted towards the westernized technical education, along with the various information they find in the various through the journals or newspapers. They were aware with the various events has taken place in the world. Okay, so all these are which responsible for the starting of these social religious movements in India. Okay, so among them, the foremost are the forerunner of Indian, the social religious movement was Raja Ramohun. Okay, so this type of a change which has taken place in colonial period, we call it as a renaissance. Okay, so there is a certain similarity with the renaissance which has taken place in the world. Okay, so you are well aware that after geographical discoveries in the world, particularly in the European nations, a certain renaissance has taken place. Okay, you also had a certain names. Certain change has taken place in the religious sphere. Many intellectual class which questioned the authority of the papal. Papal is nothing but the Catholic authority and the Roman Catholic Church. And they also challenged and started a new Protestant group with various sects. Okay, so those who called as the Protestants, and later it turned into a Protestant church. And when you see in the art and architecture, many changes has taken place. The traditional styles, which turned into certain racialistic styles, and with the painting and literature, many changes has taken place within the traditional structure. Likewise, the same renaissance has taken place in Indian society during the colonial period. Okay, so these changes has taken place with only the introduction of the English education and the westernization of the society. So with this English education and Western society, only brought by the Europeans. You are well aware that from 1498 onwards, many European countries which entered in India, they started many their own policies implemented in Indian society, and which the European policies had great influence on Indian society. All this brought a certain change in the society. Among them is the Christian missionaries' work. The Christian missionaries who attracted the lower class in the society, and they provided certain basic needs which are lacked to the lower class sections in the Indian society. They provided basic needs with the English education. It means what? They provided education and also certain basic needs to them, so that they were much attracted towards the Christian missionaries, and they started educating themselves, and also they educated their next generations also. Due to this English education, they got certain income opportunities, and they had certain opportunity to work with the Europeans, along with the Europeans in company also, and they are aware with certain things which are happened at the time in the world. Okay, so along with the economical assistance, they got the knowledge. By this knowledge, they were aware, and they started certain uh, 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 certain things which are they find in Indian society as a blind. They are opposing those blind beliefs in the society. Okay, so these are the important causes or important factors which responsible for emergence of these socio-religious reform movements. We already discussed in our last class. We'll see the Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahma Samaj today. And in next class, we'll go for another one, Arya Samaj or Young Bengal Movement, Theosophical Society in the next class. Today, we'll go with Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahma Samaj. You are well aware that Raja Ram Mohan Rai, which is belongs to a Chitpavan Brahmin family of West Bengal, and he was a good he was good at various languages, and he also better in the various things. So all these are which responsible for Raja Ram Mohan Rai to challenge the Indian society at that time. He find that certain inequality he find in the society, certain rituals find in Indian society. He find certain religious Hindu religious reform, Hindu religious traditions which are dominated in the Indian society, and These are the Hindu religion which is away to the lower sections of Indian society. So all these things he observed, and he started a certain movement to challenge certain rituals and religious practices. Okay, so he also finds certain evils in the society, particularly the Sati Sagamana, Sati system, which is a great, a dominant drawback in the Indian society. Okay, so all these things which are uh, uh, he oppose, and he want to challenge them. Okay, so many, the majority of the Indian society which is against the colonial policies, even though he got a certain positive things with the colonial power. Okay, so he also worked a certain association with governor generals at that time also. Okay, so he got only the positive things from the colonial period, colonial government, so that he challenged the Indian society at that time and started a Brahma Sabha in 1815. Okay, so with the Brahma Sabha, he opposed the Hindu traditional society, unwanted rituals, particularly he opposed a, a, a idolatry. Okay, so worshipping idol, and also he opposed certain other important rituals which is orthodox following in Hindu orthodoxy, who following certain rituals. He strongly opposed those. Okay, so I'll give you certain things along with them. The Brahma Samaja was the earliest reform movement of the modern type, which was greatly influenced by Western ideas. Raja Rammohn Rai was the founder of Brahma Samaj. He has been rightly hailed as the father of modern Indian nationalism. Okay, so as Ravindranath Tagore, which said that Raja Rammohn Rai, who ushered in the modern epoch in India. Okay, so he was a great pioneer in, according to Ravindranath Tagore, Raja Rammohn Rai was a great pioneer in the Indian Renaissance. Okay, so although Raja Rammohn Rai was a man of versatile genius, the governing passion of his life was religious reform. At time when the Bengali youth under the influence of Western learning was drifting towards Christianity, Ram Mohan Rai proved to be the champion of Hinduism. While he defended Hinduism against the hostile criticism of missionaries, he sought to purge Hinduism of the abuses that had crept into it. Therefore, he set to himself the task of purifying Hinduism and sweeping away from it the cobwebs of superstitions which has accumulated through the ages. He wanted Hinduism regenerated as a truly national religion suited to the new condition of the life, social life. Okay, so Raja Ram Mohan Rai reinterpreted Hindu doctrines and found ample spiritual basis for his humanitarianism in the Upanishads. He launched a campaign for abolition of sati, child marriage, female infanticide, etc. He advocated a rational approach to religion. He asked everyone to study the scriptures by himself without a Brahmin priest as an intermediary and accept only those religious doctrines which stand the test of his own ethical reason. Okay, so he also opposed the intermediary, the middleman, which is between the God and devotee. Okay, so he opposed the priestlyhood. along with other social evils which you find in the Hindu society. So Raja Ram Mohan Rai strongly supported the introduction of modern education, pointing out the inadequacies of the old educational system in changed conditions of life. He stressed the need for new Western type of education based on the Western ideals of liberalism, rationalism, democracy, nationalism, etc. For he saw it as an vehicle of modern thought that could acquaint the Indians with the vast advances made by the West in science, social reform, etc. Okay, so by following the new type of things which modern world is following. Okay, so the democratic principles and the equality, fraternity, and also certain sovereignty, all these are the new forms of world society, which in which with which many world countries are following. Okay, so when you see in the French, due to French Revolution, a democratic form of government has emerged. Due to Russian Revolution, a democratic form of government has emerged in Russia. Okay, so Indian American War of Independence, a democratic form of government emerged in America. So likewise, many democratic form of governments and democratic form of societies has emerged in the world at that time, so that when the influence of the world societies, which may show certain impact on the Indian society, so that the Indian society may be turned into such democratic form. Okay, so that is the basic ideology of Raja Ram Mohan Rai. So you want to democratize the Indian society with rationalistic ideology. Okay, so for Raja Ram Mohan Rai, British rule India was not an unmitigated evil. He discovered it something positively good because it launched certain progressive measures like abolition of sati, female infanticide, and established a number of educational institutions, free press, etc. Okay, so I already discussed that Raja Ram Mohan Rai, who got certain positive things with these colonial policies. Okay, so this colonial government can give certain modifies certain rituals which are following in the Indian society. Okay, so you already aware that in 1835 English created a medium of instruction, and sati system which has abolished with a system with a policy which is adopted by the Warren Hastings Sir William Bentinck with the help of Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Likewise, many changes has taken place. Okay, so later Sharada Act and many acts which created certain miracles in the society. Okay, so marriage age of women, marriage age of girls and boys has increased. So likewise, these British policies which worked for Indian society somewhat a positive. Okay, so positively they created certain modifications in the Indian society, which also given a scope for Indians to get certain opportunities, higher positions in later. Okay, so these the British policy are a colonial policies adopted by the British government, which the Raja Ram Mohan Rai observed these as a positive things. Okay, so he opposed the negative, but he observed positives which suitable for Indian society. Okay, so he was, however, not a blind admirer of British rule in India. He did not hesitate to protest and criticize the British government whenever he thought it had taken a reactionary measure. For example, he organized a protest movement against the British government when it curtailed the freedom of the press. Okay, so you are well aware that 1871 there is the Vernacular Press Act as which is implemented by Lord Lytton. So it was opposed by Raja Rammohn because it is against to the Indian society. So he too strongly criticized the British policy of excluding Indians from higher posts in the administration. Okay, so he also opposed in certain conditions which the British government has acted against the against the Indian society. So Brahma Samaj was not a purely religious reform movement. For in these days, social and political progress was inseparably linked with the religious reform. By its popularization of the ideals of India. Okay, uh, certain disturbance has taken place. I don't know how why it happened. Okay, so this are you hearing? Are you hearing my voice?
Okay, sir.
Right. So the Brahma Samaj was not a purely religious reform movement for in these days. Social and political progress was inseparably linked with the religious reform. By its popularization of the ideals of individual freedom, national unity, and liberation of social institutions and social relations, the Brahma Samaj movement undoubtedly played a great role in quickening the forces of national regeneration, which later found political expression in the Indian National Congress formed in 1885. After the death of Raja Rammohn Rai in 1883, his legacy was continued by such eminent leaders like as Devendranath Tagore and Keshav Chandra Sen. Under them, Brahma Samaj movement grew in intensity and sweep. Clarifying its objectives, Devendranath Tagore affirmed that reliance on reason rather than on infallible scriptures was the basis of Brahma faith. He installed a institution as the authority and based on religion ideological doctrine of Samaj on it. In the Brahma Samaj convenient composed by him in 1843, the following precepts were included. God is a personal being with sublime moral attitude. God has never been incarnated. God hears and answers prayers. Temples and fixed forms of worship are unnecessary. Men of all castes and races may worship God acceptably. Nature and institutions are the source of knowledge of God. No book is authoritative. Okay, so Tagore condemned idol worship, discouraged pilgrimage, ceremonials, and finances among the Brahmos. Under his influence, the Samaj sought to preserve the best in the Hindu religion and the morals. Okay, so you are well aware that after Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Brahma Samaj, which is turned into two divisions. Okay, so one is with Devendranath Tagore, another one is with Keshav Chandra Sen. Okay, this conflict has taken place with the ideology of Raja Ram Mohan Rai itself. Okay, so as he opposes Sati, and he was not able to stop the Sati which has taken place in his own family. Okay, so that is the main cause. Certain division has taken place, conflict has taken place. Okay, so later we split into the two. One is under the leadership of Devendranath Tagore, and next one is the Sadharan Brahma Samaj under the uh, uh, Keshav Chandra Sen. Okay, so Keshav Chandra Sen, it is said, took Brahma Samaj closer to Christianity. It is true that Christianity exerted a great influence on him, but he opposed the dogmas of the Christian faith as vigorously as he opposed the dogmas of Hinduism. Okay, so Keshav Chandra Sen's Sadharana Brahma Samaj, which is very close to the Christianity, as the Christianity support the Hinduism, he will support the Christianity. Okay, when the Christianity oppose the Hinduism, he will oppose the uh, Christianity. Okay, that is the main motive behind the case of Chandrasen Sabrahma Samaj. Okay, he said Christianity has failed to produce any wholesome moral influence on my countrymen. At their muscular Christianity has led many a native to identify the relation of Jesus with the power and privilege of inflicting the blows and kicks with impurity. Thus, Jesus has been disowned in India. Okay, so how much or as long as the Christianity is suitable to India, he will support the Christianity. Okay, that is the main motto. Keshav Chandra Sen dreamed of universal religion in order to unite the East and the West. He was of the opinion that there ought to be no barriers between the brothers and sisters. According to him, spiritual unification of different peoples was impossible without the alignment of modern science. He wanted to blend idealism and science, calling upon his followers to make science their religion, above the Vedas, above the Bible. Okay, so he pleaded in his epistle to Indian Petron, astronomy, geology, botany, chemistry, anatomy, and physiology are the living scriptures of the God of nature. Just as philosophy, logic, and ethics are the scriptures of the God of the soul. Okay, so he always believed with the science. Okay, so he introduced a new doctrine of Adeshwa, according to which some individuals are said to be inspired by God. As such, their word should be considered infallible and authoritative. But such a doctrine was found unacceptable to a section of the Brahmos, and therefore they started what is styled as a Sadharana Brahma Samaj. Okay, so when the other people in the Brahma Samaj who opposed the Adeshwa, then the Keshav Chandra Sen started another division called as Sadharana Brahma Samaj. Okay. To conclude, the Brahma Samaj played a crucial role in the Indian Renaissance. Okay. So according to Jarias, Raja Ramohan Rai and the Brahma Samaj formed the starting point for all the various reform movements, whether in Hindu religion, society, or politics, which have agitated modern India. The intellectual's mind, which had been cut off its mornings by the Christian propaganda, found a way out in the Brahma Samaj. Socially, the Brahma Samaj has a fudge Hinduism of many dogmas and superstitions. The Samaj has worked wonders in improving the status of women through abolition of the Parda system, discouragement of child marriages, polygamy, introduction of widow remarriage, provision of higher education, etc. Casteism, untouchability, and other social taboos were also attacked and some successive achievements. The Brahma Samaj movement, however, was not successful in attracting the masses because it was essentially an intellectual movement inspired by Western ideals. It is no wonder that its membership was mainly confined to the Western educated elite of the society. Towards the end of the 19th century, shims and uh, dissensions, dissensions began to appear within the Brahma Samaj, and after the death of Kesar Chandra Sen in 1884, it entered the path of decline. Meanwhile, a new dynamism was at work, a movement with a message which left a deeper impress on the nation's mind. The man who led it was Swami Vivekananda later. Okay, so these are certain things regarding the Brahma Samaj and the conflicts in the Brahma Samaj. Okay, so this is end of my class today, and I will start. I will give you a lecture on another concept from our syllabus and tomorrow. Okay, so students, I already posted the two papers in your WhatsApp group. Okay, so one is historiography and historical method. Next one is history of modern world, 1871 to 1964. Okay, are you got it or not? మీరు పేపర్ రిసీవ్ చేసుకున్నారా? వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్లో పేపర్స్ వచ్చినాయా మీకు?
చూసాను సార్.
రైట్. సో వాటిని మీరు సపరేట్ షీట్ మీద ఆన్సర్స్ రాసి వాటిని ఫోటోగ్రాఫ్స్ తీసి మళ్ళీ ఇండివిజువల్ వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్స్కి పంపండి. సారీ, ఇండివిజువల్ వాట్సాప్ నెంబర్స్కి పంపండి. ఓకే, వాట్సాప్ గ్రూప్లో పోస్ట్ చేయొద్దు మళ్ళీ. ఓకే, ఇండివిజువల్గా మీరు పంపించేయండి, ఇండివిజువల్ టీచర్స్. ఓకే, సో ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా వీటికి సంబంధించి? ఇంటర్నల్, సెమినార్, అసైన్మెంట్కి సంబంధించి ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఏం లేకపోతే
టాపిక్ కూడా రాయాలా సార్?
అవును, సెమినార్ టాపిక్ రాయాలి. ఇంతకుముందు ఎలాగైతే మీరు చేశారో సేమ్ టైటిల్ పేజ్ ఒకటి ఉండాలి. ఓకే, టైటిల్ పేజ్లో టైటిల్ ఆఫ్ ద సెమినార్, అట్లనే యువర్ నేమ్, యువర్ రోల్ నెంబర్, అవి ఉంటే సరిపోతుంది. ఇయర్, సెమిస్టర్ అవన్నీ జనరల్గా రాయండి ఫస్ట్ టైటిల్ పేజీ. ఇక తర్వాత నెక్స్ట్ పేజ్ నుంచి మీరు మ్యాటర్ స్టార్ట్ చేసుకోండి. ఓకే, ఇంట్రడక్షన్, లాస్ట్లో కన్క్లూజన్ వచ్చేలా.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, సో అట్లనే ఏదైతే అసైన్మెంట్ చెప్పానో అసైన్మెంట్లో 2 లాంగ్ ఆన్సర్స్ రాయమని చెప్పాను కదా, ఎస్ఏ క్వశ్చన్స్ రాయమని చెప్పాను కదా. సో ఇక్కడ కూడా మీరు టైటిల్ పేజ్ పెట్టండి. అసైన్మెంట్ పేపర్ 1 అయితే పేపర్ 1, పేపర్ 2 అట్లనే పేపర్ టైటిల్ ఇచ్చేసేయండి. పేపర్ 1, 2 ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత పేపర్ టైటిల్, తర్వాతే మీ నేము, రోల్ నెంబర్. ఓకే, సో నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ రాయండి పైన, తర్వాత ఆన్సర్. అట్లనే నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ రాయండి, ఆన్సర్. ఓకే, సో 4 పేజీల్లో రాసేసేయండి అసైన్మెంట్. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
చిన్ననాగా ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉందా? ప్రవీణ్, త్రివేణి, ఏం డౌట్ లేవా?
లేదు సార్.
సరే, మరి నేను క్లాస్ క్లోజ్ చేయనా?
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు ఎండ్ మై క్లాస్ టుడే and I will meet you again tomorrow. Okay, right.